All right, here we go. Now we're recording and we're going to go ahead and jump in where we left off yesterday. So, yesterday was use of the will. This one is further use of the will. It's so important that Wallace Wattles felt that we needed to discuss it some more. Further use of the will. You cannot retain a true and clear vision of wealth if you're constantly turning your attention to opposing pictures, whether they be external or imaginary. Do not tell of your past troubles of a financial nature, if you have had them. Do not think of them at all. Do not tell of the poverty of your parents or the hardships of your early life. To do any of those things is to mentally class yourself with the poor for the time being, and it will certainly check the movement of things in your direction. Let the dead bury their dead, said Jesus. Put poverty and all things that pertain to poverty completely behind you. You have accepted a certain theory of the universe as being correct and are resting all your hopes of happiness on its being correct. And what can you gain by giving heed to conflicting theories? Do not read religious books which tell you the world is soon coming to an end, and do not read the writing of the muckrakers and pessimistic philosophers who tell you that it's going to the devil. The world's not going to the devil, it's going to God. It's a wonderful becoming. True, there may be a good many things in existing conditions which are disagreeable, but what is the use of studying them when they are certainly passing away, and when the study of them only tends to check their passing and keep them with us? Why give time and attention to things which are being removed by evolutionary growth, when you can hasten their removal only by promoting the evolutionary growth so far as your part of it goes? No matter how horrible in seeming may be the conditions in certain countries, sections, or places, you waste your time and destroy your own chances by considering them. You should interest yourself in the world's becoming rich. Think of the riches the world is coming into instead of the poverty it is growing out of. And bear in mind that the only way in which you can assist the world in growing rich is by growing rich yourself through the creative method, not the competitive one. Give your attention wholly to riches, ignore poverty. Whenever you think or speak of those who are poor, think and speak of them as those who are becoming rich, as those who are to be congratulated rather than pitied. Then they and others will catch the inspiration and begin to search for the way out. Because, oops, excuse me, there, wrong direction. Because I say you are to give your whole time and mind and thought to riches, it does not follow that you are to be sordid or mean. To be really rich is the noblest aim you can have in life, for it includes everything else. On the competitive plane, the struggle to get rich is a godless scramble for power over other men. But when we come into the creative mind, all this is changed. All that is possible in the way of greatness and soul unfoldment, of service and lofty endeavor, comes by way of getting rich. All is made possible by the use of things. If you lack for physical health, you'll find that the attainment of it is conditional on your getting rich. Only those who are emancipated from financial worry and who have the means to live a carefree existence and follow hygienic practices can have and retain health. Moral and spiritual greatness is possible only to those who are above the competitive battle for existence. And only those who are becoming rich on the plane of creative thought are free from the degrading influences of competition. If your heart is set on domestic happiness, remember that love flourishes best where there is refinement, a high level of thought, and freedom from corrupting influences. And these are to be found only where riches are attained by the exercise of creative thought without strife or rivalry. You can aim at nothing so great or noble, I repeat, as to become rich. And you must fix your attention upon your mental picture of riches to the exclusion of all that may tend to dim or obscure the vision. You must learn to see the underlying truth in all things. You must see beneath all seemingly wrong conditions the great one life, ever moving forward toward fuller expression and more complete happiness. It is the truth that there is no such thing as poverty, that there is only wealth. Some people remain in poverty because they are ignorant of the fact that there is wealth for them, and these can best be taught by showing them the way to affluence in your own person and practice. Others are poor because, while they feel there is a way out, they are too intellectually indolent to put forth the mental effort necessary to find that way and travel by it. And for these, the very best thing you can do is to arouse their desire by showing them the happiness comes from being rightly rich. Others still are poor because, while they have some notion of science, they have become so swamped and lost in the maze of metaphysical and occult theories that they do not know which road to take. They try a mixture of many systems and fail in all. For these, again, the very best thing to do is to show the right way in your own person and practice. An ounce of doing things is worth a pound of theorizing. The very best thing you can do for the whole world is to make the most of yourself. You can serve God and man in no more effective way than by getting rich. That is, if you get rich by the creative method and not the competitive one. Another thing, we assert that this book gives in detail the principles of the science of getting rich. And if that is true, you do not need to read any other book upon the subject. This may sound narrow and egotistical, but consider there is no more scientific method of computation in mathematics than by addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. No other method is possible. There can only be but one shortest distance between 2 points. There is only one way to think scientifically, and that is to think in the way that leads by the most direct and simple route to the goal. No man has yet formulated a briefer or less complex system than the one set forth herein. It has been stripped of all non essentials. When you commence on this, lay all others aside, put them out of your mind together. Read this book every day, keep it with you, commit it to memory, and do not think about other systems and theories. If you do so, you'll begin to have doubts and to be uncertain and wavering in your thought, and then you will begin to make failures. After you've made good and become rich, you may study other systems as much as you please. But until you're quite sure that you've gained what you want, do not read anything on the line but this book, unless it be by the authors mentioned in the preface. And read only the optimistic comments on the world's news, those in harmony with your picture. Also, postpone your investigations into the occult. Do not dabble in theosophy, spiritualism, or kindred studies. It is very likely that the dead still live and are near, but if they are, let them alone, mind your own business. Wherever the spirits of the dead may be, they have their own work to do and their own problems to solve, and we have no right to interfere with them. We cannot help them, and it is very doubtful whether they can help us or whether we have any right to trespass upon their time if they can. Let the dead and the hereafter alone and solve your own problem. Get rich. If you begin to mix with the occult, you will start mental cross currents, which will surely bring your hopes to shipwreck. Now, this and the preceding chapters have brought us to the following statement of basic fact. There is a thinking stuff from which all things are made, and which, in its original state, permeates, penetrates, and fills the inner spaces of the universe. A thought, in the substance, produces the thing that is imaged by the thought. Man can form things in his thought, and by impressing his thought upon formless substance, can cause the thing he thinks about to be created. In order to do this, man must pass from the competitive to the creative mind. He must form a clear mental picture of the things he wants, and hold this picture in his thoughts with the fixed purpose to get what he wants, and the unwavering faith that he does get what he wants, closing his mind against all that may tend to shake his purpose, dim his vision, or quench his faith. And in addition to all this, we shall now see that he must live and act in the certain way. Okay, we're going to go through one more chapter here together. Acting in the certain way. Thought is the creative power or the impelling force which causes the creative power to act. Thinking in a certain way will bring riches to you, but you must not rely upon thought alone, paying no attention to personal action. That is the rock upon which many otherwise scientific metaphysical thinkers meet shipwreck, the failure to connect thought with personal action. We have not yet reached the stage of development, even supposing such a stage is to be possible, in which man can create directly from formless substance, without nature's processes or the work of human hands. Man must not only think, but his personal action must supplement his thought. By thought, you can cause the gold in the hearts of the mountains to be impelled toward you, but it will not mine itself, refine itself, point itself into double eagles, and come rolling along the road seeking their way into your pocket. Under the impelling power of the Supreme Spirit, men's affairs will be so ordered that someone will be led to mine the gold for you. Other men's business transactions will be so directed that the gold will be brought toward you, and you must so arrange your own business affairs that you may be able to receive it when it comes to you. Your thought makes all things, animate and inanimate, work to bring you what you want, but your personal activity must be such that you can rightly receive what you want when it reaches you. You're not to take it as charity, nor to steal it. You must give every man more in use value than he gives you in cash value. The scientific use of thought consists in forming a clear and distinct mental image of what you want, in holding fast to the purpose to get what you want, and in realizing with grateful faith that you do get what you want. Do not try to project your thought in any mysterious or occult way, with the idea of having it go out and do things for you. That is wasted effort and will weaken your power to think with sanity. The action of thought, so thought is an action, the action of thought in getting rich is fully explained in the preceding chapters. Your faith and purpose positively impress your vision upon formless substance, which has the same desire for more life that you have. And this vision received from you sets all the creative forces at work in and through their regular channels of action, but directed toward you. It is not your part to guide or supervise the creative process. All you have to do with that is to retain your vision, stick to your purpose, and maintain your faith and gratitude. But you must act in a certain way so that you can appropriate what is yours when it comes, so that you can meet the things you have in your picture and put them in their proper places as they arrive. You can really see the truth of this. When things reach you, they will be in the hands of other men or women who will ask an equivalent for them. And you can only get what is yours by giving the other person what is theirs. Your pocketbook is not going to be transformed into a Fortuna's purse, which will always be full of money without effort on your part. This is the crucial point in the science of getting rich, right here, where thought and personal action must be combined. There are very many people who, consciously or unconsciously, set the creative forces in action by the strength and persistence of their desires, but who remain poor because they do not provide for the reception of the thing they want when it comes. By thought, the thing you want is brought to you. By action, you receive it. Whatever your action is to be, it is evident that you must act now, meaning in the here and now. You cannot act in the past, and it is essential to the clearness of your mental vision that you dismiss the past from your mind. You cannot act in the future, for the future is not here yet, and you cannot tell how you will want to act in any future contingency until that contingency has arrived. Because you're not in the right business or in the right environment now, do not think that you must postpone action until you get into the right business or environment. And do not spend time in the present taking thought as to the best course in possible future emergencies. Have faith in your ability to meet an emergency when it arrives. If you act in the present with your mind on the future, your present action will be with a divided mind and will not be effective. Put your whole mind into present action. Do not give your creative impulse to original substance and then sit down and wait for results. If you do, you will never get them. Act now. There is never any time but now, and there never will be any time but now. If you are ever to begin to make ready for the reception of what you want, you must begin now. And your action, whatever it is, must most likely be in your present business or employment and must be upon the persons and things in your present environment. You cannot act where you are not. You cannot act where you have been. And you cannot act where you're going to be. You can only act where you are. Do not bother as to whether yesterday's work was well done or ill done. Do today's work well. Do not try to do tomorrow's work now. There will be plenty of time to do that when you get to it. Do not try, by occult or mystical means, to act on people or things that are out of your reach. Do not wait for a change of environment before you act. Get a change of environment by action. You can so act upon the environment in which you are now as to cause yourself to be transferred to a better environment. Hold with faith and purpose the vision of yourself in the better environment, but act upon your present environment with all your heart and with all your strength and with all your mind. Do not spend any time in daydreaming or castle building, holding to the one vision of what you want and act, or hold to the one vision of what you want and act now. Do not cast about seeking some new thing to do or some strange, unusual, or remarkable action to perform as a first step toward getting rich. Okay, as a first step toward getting rich. It is probable that your actions, at least for some time to come, will be those you've been performing for some time past, but you are to begin now to perform these actions in the certain way by following the laws, which will surely make you rich. If you are engaged in some business and feel that it's not the right one for you, do not wait until you get into the right business before you begin to act. Do not feel discouraged or sit down and lament because you're misplaced. No man was ever so misplaced, but that he could not find the right place. And no man ever became so involved in the wrong business, but that he could get into the right business. Hold the vision of yourself in the right business with the purpose to get into it and the faith that you will get into it and are getting into it, but act in your present business. Use your present business as the means of getting a better one, and use your present environment as the means of getting into a better one. Your vision of the right business, if held with faith and purpose, will cause the Supreme to move the right business toward you. And your action, if performed in the certain way, will cause you to move toward the business. If you are an employee or wage earner and feel that you must change places in order to get what you want, do not project your thought into space and rely upon it to get another job. It'll probably fail to do so. Hold the vision of yourself in the job you want, while you act with faith and purpose on the job you have, and you will certainly get the job you want. Your vision and faith will set the creative forces in motion to bring it toward you, and your action will cause the forces in your own environment to move you toward the place you want. In closing this chapter, we will add another statement to our syllabus. There is a thinking stuff from which all things are made, and which, in its original state, permeates, penetrates, and fills the inner spaces of the universe. A thought in this substance produces the thing that is imaged by the thought. Man can form things in his thought, and by impressing his thought upon formless substance, can cause the thing he thinks about to be created. In order to do this, man must pass from the competitive to the creative mind. He must form a clear mental picture of the things he wants, and hold this picture in his thoughts with the fixed purpose to get what he wants. And the unwavering faith that he does get what he wants, closing his mind to all that may tend to shake his purpose, dim his vision, and quench his faith. That he may receive what he wants when it comes, man must act now upon the people and things in his present environment. Okay. Hey, some of you joined us since we got started. Missed you guys. We were already almost 5 minutes into it. It was just me and Pia.
Yes, I'm sorry about that. I'm at a grocery store getting groceries and I can't see anybody, and I don't know, my phone's doing weird things. So I'm sorry.
Oh,
I mean,
well, glad you're here,
I
Paula.
don't, I don't know what I'm doing.
I was almost ready to cancel this one and say we're not going to do it anymore.
No.
I'm like, if they only show up in the morning, not the afternoon, then I'm not going to do the afternoon anymore.
No, do the afternoon. I need the
Okay, well, then you guys need to show up on time. I literally almost canceled.
I was like,
oh my gosh.
It's 3 o'clock. I gotta tune in for Kevin. I'm sorry. I gotta put an alarm on it.
No,
right.
I need to. Yeah, I don't have an excuse, except I'm getting I had some money and I can buy food.
Awesome.
That's all. That's my excuse. Okay.
That's awesome.
I'm buying
no,
food,
nothing wrong with buying
yeah.
some food. I'm just letting you guys know in general. I mean, this is the first time I'm like,
that's terrible.
I might actually have to cancel. Pia showed up first and she was about 5 after.
Oh, geez.
And I said myself, if nobody jumps on by 5 after, I'm shutting it down.
I agree.
We're here now. We're ready to go.
All right. So questions and comments. You go. What you got?
Okay. I was referring back to the competition segment. He was talking about you have to go with the heart of non-competing. You know, in the business I'm in, that's what they want you to do, is compete against each other. So they throw out emails that make you more competitive, and I have to just delete them because it's very antagonizing for me, and I don't like that feeling.
Yeah.
If I'm going to compete, it's going to be in a board game against good-hearted friends, but not in my business.
So
Yeah.
if that's what they're training, so let's take this a little further, okay?
Okay,
So
yes.
if that's what they're actually training, okay. Is there just brainstorming, okay?
Yes.
So one thing to ask yourself is, well, okay, is there a company that I could do this for if this is what I actually want to do that has a different mindset? So that's a question. I'm not, you know, the other question could be is, okay, going back to, if I'm going to be in this business, because this is where I'm meant to be, I intuitively know and feel it, then what is the creative process for me to attract the clients that I want and that I'll be able to serve,
Right.
and we'll be happy and they'll be happy too, right? And
Exactly.
that's where you've got to take the time to actually rehearse. Remember when we talked the other day about rehearsal?
Yes.
Yeah. Rehearsing in your own mind your conversations with clients. And since that's your conversation, but how do you generate leads for your business? Do you have to go out and generate them, or are they provided?
I generate them through a warm market of connections I have of people that I know, and then hopefully they will increase the network.
Sure.
Through connections that they have. Or I can also do cold calling through, like, it's just finding the market, like connecting through other nurse practitioners, veterinarians, because of my dogs, those kinds of things.
Okay. So you're essentially your own lead generator. That's what I'm getting from this. So the thought of that you need to be asking God in the universe for a lead is, what are the sources of meeting people and making friends that will not just become friends of mine, but that are also clients of mine, paying clients? It's interesting. We kind of have to add in all this stuff. Leslie Householder, I remember, She and I were
Yes.
talking with each other, and she was like, yeah, I want to attract clients that want what I've got. They want my stuff. They want my training. They want my coaching. And what happened to her, she almost went broke. But every single person she talked to, oh, you're the best. You're awesome. Oh my gosh. This is so great. Thank you for doing what you're doing. And nobody bought anything. So
Wow.
what she recognized was, oh, she got exactly what she asked for. A bunch of people that wanted what she had, but she didn't clarify that so then what she asked for is now she asked for people that buy her stuff. That sounds like a
Okay.
simple thing, but we don't ask necessarily for what we want. And it's not that God and the universe don't understand, it's the vibration you're putting out. By not asking for the money, by not asking for the monetary compensation, you're basically telling the universe that you don't deserve that compensation.
I get it. I get this.
Yeah. So be sure to ask to be compensated well for what you do, and to work together with people that you enjoy working with. That create what it is, what you want your life to be like. That's what we always come back to, right? Create the life the way you want it to be. And if you
Yes.
want money in your life, then you better make sure that that is part of that creation process. Because having a bunch of people sing your praises and say you're awesome, it might be a good warm fuzzy. And it might even help a little bit with self-image, but we're still going to wonder why we're not succeeding if financially we're working towards that too, and that's not happening.
Yes. Now I do work with my partner, and I bring him in because I'm the warm and fuzzy, but he does the sales, and he's
Okay.
good. He is good
Oh, awesome.
at getting the money. Yes, it is. I just got to get a market in. I just got to get my connections in. So that's the thought process of connecting with the market.
Let's pretend you bring in quite a few people. Do most of them buy when you make when you turn them over to him? Do they buy most of the time or not?
About 50-50.
Okay. So what's happening is they're attracted to you, and only 50% are unattracted by him. Let me repeat that.
Yes, I got you.
100% of them were attracted to you. Now, I don't know how they're attracted to you, right? But 100% of them were attracted to you, but 50% of them are attracted to him also.
Huh.
Different way to think of it, right?
It could be.
So maybe you're the one who's supposed to take that other 50% and stay with them.
Okay.
Or maybe you were the one who was supposed to talk to the 50% in the first place, or even the 100%, and then get help with whatever it is that the ones that you need the help with. Because I've found in a sales scenario, particularly, I say direct sales or MLM, I know that's yours is direct sales, you're directly selling to somebody.
Yep.
That the people who will make the most money are going to be the ones who are actually talking to the clients, potential clients, and are actually getting that opportunity.
Yes.
Everybody's going to tell you things. It's a numbers game. It's a this game. It's a that game. I'm going to tell you it's a vibration game, because life is a vibration game.
I know. Yeah.
Which is good, which is totally awesome. It's a good thing that life is a vibration game.
I like that better.
Yeah, if it feels better, and it is something that you can do naturally. You don't have to gear up or become better. Now, you're always going to learn to become better at selling, because all selling is, if you truly care about the other person, is getting to know them well enough to show them how to choose what it is they already want to do. It's to help them to do what they already were going to do and want to do. They just need somebody to say, hey, now's the time to do it. They need that encouragement a lot of times, because they want to be told what to do. You could send me
this in an email.
Well, you'd have to pay me too much money to take that would be my one-on-one or my group coaching, right?
Someday.
Well, not someday. You decide what the date is. You don't have to tell me, and then do it.
I will. I mean, oh gosh.
That's all right.
I know. It will happen.
Cool.
I love this. Okay, I got you.
All right. Cool.
I mean, I'm comprehending,
Yeah,
I've got
I
a daughter.
get what you're saying. Okay, yeah. Pia, since you were here and you were the first one to show up, do you have anything that you want to share or ask?
No, as usual, I enjoy your seminars, your webinars.
Okay.
But the competition, I think people that when they start to compete with others, instead of spending time and doing the right thing and creating their own mental and physical growth, they waste time finding out what other people are doing. And that is just a waste of time. So competition, it's just absolutely a non-essential to growth.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree. Bob Proctor, somebody asked him, and this is interesting. I can see the pros and cons. So I'm going to share with you kind of the both. Somebody asked Bob Proctor, like, oh, do you know who this guru is and who this trainer is? And, do you know so-and-so and so-and-so? And he does know some people because he collaborates from time to time with different people doing things. But they're like, do you know what they do? Like, do you know their method, this, that? Have you heard about? And here's Bob Proctor's answer to all of that. He's like, I don't know what they do, and I don't really even care about what they do. I focus on being guided to do what I'm supposed to do.
Exactly. That's
yeah. And that's why he can be independent of anybody else and vice versa. I can be, or whoever, and still be a benefit to the world, because God and the universe can work through us individually to create whatever it is that we want. And that is how it is going to work. We will collaborate from time to time with people as they come into our life if we're impressed to do so. And if we're guided and directed to do so. But he's not up on what everybody else is doing because he's too busy creating what he's doing. He's not competing with Tony Robbins, for instance.
Yeah.
And if you've listened to both Bob Proctor and Tony Robbins, they're both brilliant, and you also know they're very different. Not that they're teaching things in opposition fully to what each other's saying, but they're just two different human beings. Bob would never be Tony, and Tony would never be Bob. Neither are they trying to be like each other.
Thank God, yeah. Excellent. I agree completely.
Awesome. Any other questions or comments while we got you?
I guess it's me, Takira. I think that's about the inferiority that we spoke about yesterday, that complex where he says, Kevin might have this gift to do this, but that doesn't mean that we're less than, or I might have a gift to teach. Some people cannot be in the room with kids for 2 minutes. So it doesn't mean that we're less than, it just means that's what they do best and we should do what we do best. That's why in the teaching world, I quit every single teaching job I had because a lot of women were so intimidated or so jealous and so catty that it took away from the teaching. So now starting my own business, it's like I'm kind of where Paula is, wanting clients because it's like, where do you generate them from? But I will say I was in the flow today, trying to manifest what I love to do, which is teach. But I don't want to get caught up in how can I get the happy, paying, wonderful clients? I guess I'm going to do it.
Well, you don't have to think about the how to. You have to visualize, feel, and live it in your imagination. And then you'll learn how to, because God and the universe will give you the steps to take. So you do have to live it. You just don't know how. You don't have to know how they showed up. You have to see them already there, though.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
It doesn't matter who's the president of the United States. He and or she, whoever it is at any given time, that is going to be, is someone who saw themselves there before it happened. Now, whether they've seen it since they were little kids or whether they saw it 3 years ago, it doesn't matter. They had to see themselves doing what they're doing, or they wouldn't have ever got the position.
I already see the clients. I already see the 5 kids.
Yeah, whatever it is, you already, so that's where you live.
Okay.
You know, Paula, where Paula lives is she's writing I don't know how much she makes per thing, right? So I'm making up a number, but she's adding a new client every day that actually signs up and pays.
Okay.
Right. And this is just, that's part of my life. I do this. I have a conversation. Maybe it's Zoom, maybe it's in person. Now these people are smiling. We're laughing together. Because usually if somebody's smiling and laughing with you, then you're kind of in each other's good side, right? And so, and then you ask them, and they're more than happy to purchase the insurance. And you're attracting people that have the money to do it in the first place.
I love that. Love that part. Because I just told a woman my prices, and she said, no one's going to come to you. You charge too much and you're in-home. But in my universe, people that can afford me will be attracted to me. So I'm going to leave it with you. I want to attract I already attracted who can afford my prices. And I'm going to read that book that you suggested, Michael Maher.
The it's called 7L, the 7 Levels of Communication by Michael Maher.
Yeah, I read about a good 10 pages, and it really forces like how to love people and be in their life, so to speak, not just have them as a customer, but like know their children's name, know the kids going to college and stuff. So
yeah,
I'm gonna see how that works too. Thanks, Kevin.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Welcome. Okay. Anybody else? All right. I will see you guys tomorrow.
Yes, you will.
All right. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.